I guess it's been a part of my childhood and part of my parents' childhood for a long time. I guess Lego just runs through our blood. It's turned me into a very creative and problem-solving person. It just reminds me to have fun. I like farming because it's a really wide and broad field of so many different and interesting things. There's berry farming, grain farming, dairy farming, cattle farming, feedlots. You know, farmers feed cities. It's taught me some valuable handyman and mechanic skills working with my grandpa and my dad on equipment and stuff. Well, there's a lot of science that goes into making sure the crops are ready, making sure they're not unsafe to eat, and making sure that, you know, the combines and the tractors are all configured. Technology, all the fancy touch screens and all the technology, the GPS, the field mapping. I mean, engineering could be fairly obvious, like the amount of engineering that goes into like a combine or even a tractor is immense. Making sure everything works, making sure things don't intersect in strange ways that make the equipment break down. Art, there's a certain amount of beauty to seeing a combine at dusk, meandering through the field. There's a certain amount of beauty and just, you know, awe. And then math, there's a lot of mathematical calculations that going into bushels, yield. It's just a really interesting prospect to me of, you know, building smaller versions of these implements to, you know, sticking onto a Lego tractor to see how it worked, see it run, you know? So we were looking at our first DOT, and we were looking at DOT 2.0 and our new tractor. Well, DOT, the big version, is a diesel-powered modular platform. It's not very big. I mean, in terms, if compared to like compared to like some of John Deere's products, it's not a large in comparison, but it's modular. Yeah, I thought that'd be pretty cool to replicate in Lego, or at least try to replicate. Like, fairly simple, a lot easier to engineer with like an EV3 brick than say a conventional tractor. It was a lot harder to make than it should have been because Technics just isn't built for things like this, so it kept falling apart. We wanted to originally make this open, but that didn't work because it would just fall apart. What we learned from this is that this shape really just doesn't work sometimes. So we moved on to a more conventional shape, you know, with the tires more in a conventional tractor configuration here. Uh-oh, that's not good. That's the bad sound. And as you can see, it's turning and going at the same time. So AgTech Steam is my program to get programming, technology, and ag all rolled up into one nice, beautiful box and ship it out to rural kids. I know from experience, it's not exactly feasible to always go into a city. I had the idea of, well, what if we could just bring all this stuff to them, digitally or physically? What they get these little learning modules that are part of a greater content pack. And each content pack contains different modules, you know. I think a lot of farm kids grow up, you know, believing the stereotype that farmers are pitchfork, overall wearing, not so educated people, because that's just how other people perceive them and that's what they get from popular culture. I'm doing my part to help fix that stereotype and to get rid of it, because that stereotype it doesn't exist. Even before that stereotype really took off, it wasn't really true in the first place, because a lot of the older generations of farmers used a lot of science and engineering and math to help them out.